And we're back with this week's produce update. We're very excited now that we've had a couple of nights in the upper Midwest of some hard frost. That means we're starting to get more winter squash donated. And what's really exciting about winter squash is not only are these really friendly for your warehouse and a great to store, but they're some of the most nutritionally dense items that we can bring in for our clients. For those who were with us back in April at the Produce Summit, you remember the Nutritionally Rich Food Index? Well, winter squash score a whopping 219, which is the second highest, right behind cantaloupe. Very high in vitamins E, very high in vitamin A, and very high in calcium, and you'll remember it's because of that orange flesh. So in terms of bang for your buck, you send these out with potatoes, with apples, you're going to just get a really great, dense variety that you can send to your clients. The thing to remember with butternut squash, carnival squash, or acorns, any of our winter squash varieties, is that they are chilling sensitive. So not only is it a great benefit to us to be able to store these in that dry ambient zone, that's where they are the most happy themselves. So we want to keep these out in our dry spaces. You can keep them on a cooler or refrigerated truck. Most of the squash varieties will develop chilling injury anywhere between like 15 and 30 days in cold storage. Just means that you want to keep them out of the cooler long term if you're going to keep these for more than about a week. Another thing to remember with our green varieties is that they will actually start yellowing if you partner them up or neighbor them up next to anything that produces ethylene. So that would be your apples, your pears, the big ethylene producers. They will start to yellow. The squash still is consumable, just doesn't look so hot. So that is a little bit about squash. So we often hear from our agency relations team that squash can be a little intimidating. It's hard for people to take a squash that they don't know what it is or they haven't seen it before. And sometimes we hear from our staff that they themselves don't even know what those varieties of squash are. So what we are going to do this year as a produce team is we're actually hosting in a couple weeks a squash cook-off. We are going to invite our folks from agency relations, communications, anyone in our warehouse who's handling all these squash advocacy. We're inviting them in for a little lunch to taste 10 different varieties of squash, as well as host them for lunch with some squash-based entrees. The whole idea is just to get people at our own staff more comfortable with what these squash are, what they're looking at, so that they can go and talk to their contacts and partners about these squash as well, and just really engage more people around some of these really fun, healthy varieties. So we will keep you posted in terms of how that goes and what that means for us, but until then,